going on YouTube? This is Adrian with Sabers, and today I wanted to do a video. Haven't posted one in a while. I finished this Saber a while back, but it was the first time attempting something like this, and it was a really cool just project. Took a lot to do, a lot of parts that I made myself and everything, and I've heard it said before that a Starkiller 2.0 is like a rites of passage kind of thing, and it totally is. But I just wanted to take the second to go over it, just kind of show what I did, because I really happen to love this build. So I'll start with the top and go downwards. So this is heat stained. It's an actual heat stain. So I did take a torch to it, and it hits heat stained really well. Decided to do this upper area, obviously, because it's where the blade comes out. I made just like a simple little blade plug to go in it for now. What I've seen some other people do is that they'll do angle cuts in the bunny ear section, so I did that. Heat stained the little thumb knob over here, and it does act as a blade retention. And I noticed that when you heat stained it, it actually darkened the rest of the metal, so I didn't even need to do anything else to weather that. Moving on down, this is one of the Graflex eyes from I believe it was, SorocSabers, I think. It was a recommendation from SorocSabers. He uses his parts in a lot of his builds, and he's one of the guys who makes really good parts that a lot of people recommend. Really good quality. I went with it because it has some shine through. You can kind of see there's a hole in the middle, so that you do get a little bit of shine through there. Turning it around here. The screws that I had, I found it at, the screws I found at work, and they're like security type screws, so they're not like the regular torque bit because they got the little nub in the middle. So I just thought, it was the most unique screw that I could find that kind of fit the bill with what I needed here. This control box, I'll have to put mentions down in the comments because I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, and I bought it a long time ago, but somebody was recreating these Canon Y control boxes and machining them out of aluminum, and they came out really nice. I'm so glad that they did that because I really wanted this control box, but obviously it's hard to find the actual vintage part, and or it would be expensive, so he recreated them. They were at a reasonable price, and I'm glad that I was able to incorporate it in this build. I have a Canon Y clamp card here. What I did was I actually took the Anakin Revenge of the Sith style, and I painted over it silver, so you can kind of see it chipping, and the actual clamp card kind of coming through a little bit. To me, I thought it was cool because obviously this is Vader's apprentice, but he was Anakin, so kind of a little reference there. Turning it around, I did heat stain around where the crystal chamber is. Figured there'd be heat coming off of a kyber crystal, and then I did these cuts myself with a Dremel. What I ended up actually doing was 3D printing a template that slid over it. I just found it easier to kind of design it on the computer, and it definitely made it even on both sides and everything, so that was I'm really glad that I did that and then just wing it, because this is kind of a one and done type thing. You can really mess it up. This whole 2.0 kit I actually bought off of the Facebook market, and it was already cut a little bit to where there was some of the ribs showing. So I would have liked for this to drop down lower, but I used what that was working with. So but I actually ended up liking how much of the ribs are exposed and everything, so it ended up being really cool. And then in the crystal chamber section, you can kind of see that it's not perfect. There's dirty wires all up in there, and I kind of did all that on purpose. I tried to make this really scrappy and kind of clobbered together. This part came from work as well. It's like a little steel like air nozzle, quick detach air nozzle. So it did heat stain. I don't know if you can see that. You kind of can. So I kind of cut it down to size, I fit it in there, and then these little metal pieces here are actually sealing wire. So people who do T-bar sealing and all that, they have a ton of this wire, and they clip it off. Obviously they clip the excess and it's on the ground. So I picked some of it up and kind of bent it to different shapes. Thought I might be able to use it for a crystal chamber, so this is the first time I did that. This is the other cone knob that comes in the kit. Benji, the homeboy at Nerf Herder Customs, he does that, and I decided to just go with that. It looks really good, and it's a really easy way to hold the crystal in there, and it's, you're using parts that you have that you're not necessarily going to really use again, so that was a good use for that. I just 3D printed a piece to kind of capture the bottom side of it. I did do some brass rods for like the gold bars that you usually see. I might go back and darken these more, but for now I kind of left all the brass nice and gold. Here's the rib section that I painted over and kind of chipped the paint back off. There's some, what was it, like this aluminum filler putty that I had, because I kind of overcut a little bit for the notches for these, so I went back and filled it in. Looks quite grimy, but there's a kill switch here, so that actually is functional, and you can actuate that from the outside of the Saber, which I've found to be really nice. I picked this up a lot more because I can just keep the battery in it, and that really saves it, so I want to try to do that a lot more in builds. These shroud pieces here actually came from where I work as well. It's actually just electrical conduit. I just took it and I cut a bunch of panels out of it to fit in between the brass bars, and I weathered it and everything. I tried to heat stain it a little bit, but it didn't really take to that, so it kind of darkened it, but it gave it a really cool look still. I really like it. And then if you can see really closely, I tried to get some, what's that color? Yeah, I'm forgetting everything, but I took some paint to try to get like a little rust effect in the grooves of the Saber, and you can kind of see that a lot more here. And let's see, going down one, this is actually from my work as well, and it's just coppered pipe that plumbers use. So I was actually able to darken this with chemically, and I kind of used a little bit of paint to add a little bit more weathering to it. And the thing that I did that I thought was kind of unique was that this brass piece is all one piece, and I had to notch each brass bar in order to fit around it. You can kind of see that there, the light shining through it. So I thought that was kind of cool. To me, it makes it look better than this upper half, which are all cut individually. So I wish I could have done that, but as you can see, the thicknesses are pretty close, so the material would have been too thin to do that. The pommel was custom machined. I want to say it was Phil Guinness. I know the first name is Phil, but a huge shout out to him. He makes these for people, and he was kind enough to lend me one, so I bought that off of him. Obviously I chemically aged it and painted over it a little bit to weather it, try to make it match the rest of the Saber. And probably the coolest part for me about this build, and one of the reasons why I really wanted to do it, was not only one, I saw, Benji's 2.0s that he did over time and absolutely fell in love with them, and I got the opportunity to hold one at the Saner Boys trip, so that kind of sold me into wanting to do it. So seeing that really motivated me. But then the other thing is, me and my brother went to a little a con. It was the Galaxy Con in San Jose, and Sam Witwer happened to be there. I didn't have this made at the time, but I had the pommel. That was the only thing I had. So what I had him do was just sign that. So you can see I don't really have a whole lot of room here, but Sam Witwer signed the bottom before I ever did anything with the Saber. So I thought that was really cool, just to have his signature on, his hilt. And I'm sure a couple other people, have the same thing too. They've gotten the opportunity to have him sign it, so super cool. It's one of my favorite things in my collection right now. But moving on to the inside, I was going to try to do a short video, but not really. But when you get to the inside, This was my very first time designing and printing something in metal. So I have this sleeve here, and it's actually printed in steel. And I did heat stain it so you can kind of see the discoloration in it. Try to make it look like something that came from Raxus, which is kind of try to do that with the color of the actual plastic chassis itself too. Kind of made it different, but match a little bit. All kind of junky colors. Of course, Proffie 2.2, some USB and SD card access, 28mm speaker, and there is some accent lighting throughout the side, 18650. So let's go ahead and boot it up. So there's that accent lighting. Here's that crystal. The one button is in the control box. Throw the pommel on it really quick. It's a nice tight fit. And I like how tight the tolerances are because I can just line that up in the configuration that I like. I added the Covertech knob here as if I was going to have it in the cross platform rather than the X pattern as opposed to the cross. That would look more like this with the gold bar down the middle, but I kind of found that I prefer it like that. Sounds really good.
I'll tear my way through if I have to. They don't need a reason, but I'd wager that they're pursuing the last of the Felucian.
So this Saber actually has a mix of Blue Mamba's fonts. He has a really good Force Unleashed pack, and then K-Sith also has, can't remember what he nicknamed it, but he has a Starkiller font. So the font that it's on right now is actually K-Sith's, but I put all of Blue Mamba's quotes on it because I really love having quotes. But this next font,
Master Coda,
is Blue Mamba's.
You shouldn't have come here.
I have a couple more from his pack on here as well, but I really like their fonts. They're obviously some of the best in the game. Had to have them on here. But yeah, let me switch that back. One thing I forgot to mention, which was kind of funny, was this sound venting mesh. It's actually like a sanding disc that I cut a piece of and glued in there, but it ended up working really perfectly because it's really rigid and it's really tough, but there's definitely a lot of space for sound to get out, but nothing can get inside, so that's good. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video kind of showing that off. I'm definitely really proud of this hilt. Definitely had a lot of help and suggestions from Benji, and I'm sure I asked other people for advice as well, but definitely had a lot of help and needed it for this build. But it came out really cool. I really love it. It's one of my favorites in my collection. So thank you guys for just taking the time to watch it. I've got some more videos coming up soon, so just be on the lookout for that. Thanks. Bye.